गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. So, in the what we are towards the end of the 18th chapter, the Moksha Sanyaasa Yoga of the Bhagavad Gita, and it was told that whoever will study this sacred conversation between us, by him shall I be worshipped through knowledge sacrifice. This is my view. So, what is required here? In that, after having given all the knowledge, now the Lord Sri Krishna is concluding, and he is saying that anyone who hears it with will study the sacred conversation with us. What is that conversation? That is this conversation between the Jiva and the Paramatma. It is between the individual and the infinite. It is between the individual and the Ishvara, not the infinite, the Ishvara, and or the Bhagwan, and it has stood the test of all the times. Knowledge is the same, and every person, for how many years this is now? 5,800 years. People have visited Bhagavad Gita, people have learned, people have applied, and it is still as fresh as ever. But for that, one thing is required. Yesterday we were talking about commitment, and that commitment is to study one verse at least of Bhagavad Gita every day. Maximum what will happen, it will take 2 years. If you take 2 verses, it will take 1 year. See, but study it. In Melbourne, we know so many people who have studied it and have benefited from it. And then he says in the 71st verse, श्रद्धावान अनसूयश्च शृणुयादपि यो नरः सोपि मुक्त शुभान लोकान प्राप्नुयात पुण्य कर्मणाम. And the man who might merely hear this with faith and without cavilling, he too shall be freed from evil and attain the blessed worlds of righteous men. Here, if you have not studied the Bhagavad Gita and you have only merely heard here, see what is told in our Shastras, Shravanam, Mananam and Nidhyasanam. So, listening is important. But how do you listen? How do you listen? Are we listening only mechanically? Are we listening as if we are doing a comparative study with what we have heard before or from other Mahatmas? Are we here sitting as a judge how much knowledge that the teacher has, how much Sanskrit the teacher knows? Or are we sitting with this type of attitude that let me see what he is going to teach us? All these attitudes are detrimental to our own unfoldment. It has got nothing to do with the teacher. It has got only to do with the student. And it is the student's attitude, it is the student's disposition, is the student's sincerity, is the student's commitment that takes him and makes him more than he feels that he is at this moment. And without cavilling. First was faith, second is cavilling. Here, when it came to faith, we did say that as our master used to say, desiring to know that which we do not know, that is faith. Knowing that you don't know it, yet you have faith that one day you will come to know about it. That is faith. We are all seeking the truth. Truth we are already, but we don't know that. Yet we are continuously pursuing it. That is faith. That is commitment. See? And cavilling means the one who has given what the points I told you before, no judgment towards the teacher, the scripture, what is that? We should not have any ill will or judgmental attitude towards the scripture, towards the Lord, towards the teacher, and towards our own ability to understand. Many people, they come, they listen, I'm already 50 years old, I think it will be possible only in next life. You have heard it many times. That it is very difficult. It is not possible. Don't go into that type of thinking. Reality is here and now. It is not in the future moment of time. And in one moment, everything can change. In one moment, everything can get concluded. For that type of faith is also required. See? So, cavilling means not bad mouthing the scriptures, even in jest, even in joke. The teacher, our own ability. He too shall be freed from the evil and attain the blessed worlds of righteous men. What is the evil? The evil is being accepting the conditionings as real is evil. Accepting the conditionings as real is evil. All data shows that these conditionings are temporary. You feel you are continuous, but you have superimposed that continuity on the conditionings and you are taking the conditionings to be the real, and therefore getting subjected to the miseries, the grief, and whatnot. But when we listen diligently with faith, without bad mouthing the scriptures, even in joke or the teacher, etc., there is a possibility. Uddhar ho jayega. Uddhar means you will be released. You will raise yourself to be the ultimate one. And one then can find themselves in the worlds of the righteous men. What does that mean? What is the righteous men's world? We are not talking about Bhurva Swatapa Janama Satyam. That may be true for some people. But our world is different. What is that world? What is the world of the righteous man? Meaning the man of wisdom. What is his world? Brainstorm?
Being peaceful.
All is me. All in one and one in all. That is his world. Don't forget that. I am in, yesterday also that topic came. I am in all and all are in me. And yet nothing is happening. That is the transcendental state. See, transcendental state cannot be known. Realization cannot be known. Because there is nothing there. Only through symptoms. Only when, because if you are in this body, you have lived a particular path, you have practiced something and you come to realize, then what? realization is not something that it is beyond the words, it is beyond the mind comprehension. Then how do you know that the person is abiding? It is through the symptoms. And what is the symptom? All in one, one in all. That is the symptom. Having said this, Lord Krishna is teasing our Arjuna. He says, Kachchidetat shrutam partha tvaikagrena chetasa kachchidajnana sammohaha pranashtaste dhananjaya. Puri Ramayana bata di. The whole Ramayana is told, and then you ask, who is the best character you like? Ravana! Huh? Duryodhan! Where is the... So here, what was the issue because of which the Gita started? It was an identity crisis of Arjuna. In between, from second chapter onwards, the knowledge was presented by Bhagwan. Nowhere in Bhagavad Gita it says it is Krishna. It says Bhagwan Uvacha. By the Bhagwan, it's a principle. And as this communication was taking place, Arjuna's cobwebs were getting removed, and his inquisitiveness about his real nature kept getting fired up. He asked more questions, and eventually he has come to a point where everything is crystal clear for him. He knows what his position is. And there's nothing more. Bhagwan has given the entire Bhagavad Gita, then he gave a precis, a summary of Bhagavad Gita, then he gave a summary of Bhagavad Gita in one verse. And now he is saying that, Kachchideta Shrutam Partha, have you listened to what I have said, O Partha? Partha is son of Pritha. Pritha is coming from Prithvi. So he is the land of the son of the soil. He is grounded. Before he was airy-fairy. Everywhere he has used the particular name for Arjuna. Purposely he has used that to invoke that quality out of him. Wherever Bhagwan's name is used as Rishikesha or Achyuta, it is to bring out that personality of him. So here he says, have you listened to this, O Partha? And how Tvayi ekagrena chetasa, with a single pointed mind? Or you have been wool gathering while I was talking? Why? Because he did a summary of the entire Gita. Then, yeah, I heard all that. Again, you are telling me, I understood. I was listening. No. Have you been listening to it, O Arjuna, with single pointed attention? Meaning what? What does it mean to be single pointed from a worldly point of view? Not philosophically, not scientifically, worldly point of view. Not getting distracted by anything. Yeah, then other definitions are there. It is commitment to focused on one thought. The theme is only one thought to the exclusion of everything else. All that is okay. But he is here in the middle. Are you getting distracted by what is, the army is here, the middle, we are in the middle? Before he was getting distracted and he lost the plot. So here Krishna is asking him that, have you listened to what I have said with a single pointed mind? And then Kachchid Ajnana Sammoha, and has your ignorance, which expressed as the delusion. How do you know ignorance? Through its effect. What is the effect of ignorance? Non-apprehension and misapprehension. What is that? Forgetfulness and or forgetfulness slash delusion, which expresses as illusion and projection. Don't forget this part. Ignorance cannot be known. Because if you know it, then it cannot be called ignorance. Isn't it? You say, I don't know. Then how do you know? Or what are its expressions? They are delusion. It first expresses delusion, then it expresses as projection. Has your delusion due to ignorance been destroyed, O winner of wealth? Wealth means here all the qualities. He has mastered all the qualities. He did lot of tapasya, preparing for this war. He went to the heavens. He went to the Lord Shiva. He went to the rishis, and he collected all the arms and ammunitions that were required for the war. Because without Arjuna, the war would not be winnable. Everyone knows that. So here, the commentary of Gyaneshwari Maharaj says, Tari Sangapa Pandava Ha Shastra Siddhantu Aghava Tuja Eka Chitte Phava Gela Ahe Amhi Jaise Jayariti Uganile Kananchi Hati Yeri Taise Chi Tujya Chitti Pethe Kele Ki अथवा माझारी गेले सांडिवी खुरी किंवा उपेक्षेवरी वाळूनी सांडिले जैसे आम्ही सांगितले तैसेची हृदयी फावले तरी सांग पावहिले पुसेन ते मी तरी स्वाज्ञान जनिते मागिले मोहे तूते भुलविले तो येथे असे की नाही हे बहु पुंसो काई सांगे तू आपल्या ठाई कर्मा कर्म काही देखतासी. Gyaneshwari Maharaj says in the commentary, tell me, O Arjuna, have you imbibed all the doctrines of the Gita? There is Uttam Adhikari, there is Madhyam Adhikari, there is Adham Adhikari, and there is Adhama Adhamadhikari. So who is Uttam Adhikari? The bestest student who, the moment the words are heard by him, he doesn't get lost in the words. He is focused on the purport of the words, what they are indicating, that he is imbibing. See? He is not into the grammar, he is not into the words, he is not into comparison, he is not into, oh, how nice it is to hear. Some people get emotional listening to the words of the teacher. Get out of all that. It is not going to help you. Because all these type of attitudes keep you objective in approach. We have to be subjective. When? When the words are falling on our ear at that very moment. How many times I must have said this in retreats, even in classes? What is that principle due to which hearing is taking place? What is that principle because of which understanding is taking place? What is that constant because of which the breath is taking place? Everything is taking place because of some life principle. Be that. Not search for it. Be that. Because you are it. Whatever knowledge I poured into your ears, has it sunk in your mind? See? Has it gone and permeated throughout your antahkarana? Oil and water can never get mixed together, isn't it? Then what type of permeation are we talking about here? Like butter is permeating the milk. You have to take it out. You have to do the sadhana, then the cream will come up. Heat treatment. Same way, when you are listening, whenever you are focused, single pointed, heat will be generated, like it or not. So here when he is saying that I have poured everything into your ears. And Lord, out of his love, compassion, he said, you are so dear to me that I want to tell you in summary all over again. Because I had never found a student like this before. Then after having told that, he says, no, I'll tell you, in one verse I'll tell you the whole Bhagavad Gita. Have you been listening, Arjuna? Now is the test of Arjuna. That's why this is all the, he's getting ready to drop the question that have you heard? I poured into your ears. Has it sunk into your mind, or has some of it got scattered in the way or been ignored by you through disrespect? Disrespect, the previous word said cavilling. Cavilling is that disrespect, disregard. And that only comes because we have not given respect. Why should we respect Bhagavad Gita? Firstly, because it is the greatest. Second, it is given by the Lord himself. Third, the great masters have studied it and said again and again over centuries that it is the greatest text. Many different religions have translated this and it appears in different names there. See? Or has been ignored by you through disrespect. Disrespect not necessarily towards Bhagavad Gita. Remember 4 areas: the book, the text, scripture, the Lord who is speaking, what was that? The teacher, here is the teacher or the Lord, and the ability that, oh, I understood, I did not understand. You remain in that mode, in that zone of doubt. Next few verses have gone over your head. You cannot revisit it. So Bhagavan is asking that if whatever I have told you has entered into your heart, then give a straight and ready answer to my question. See, first he said it is mind, now he is saying it is heart. What is heart? We are not talking about the physical heart, we are not talking about the hridaya kuhara madhye, hridaya. Not that one. According to scriptures, the heart is the antakaran. Antakaran is what? The inner equipment. Inner equipment is what? Mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankar. Mind, memory, mind, intellect, memory, and the one who owns the other 3, the ego. The ego. It is here that the convictions are formed. It is here that you just fleetingly you look at something and deep inside an impression is formed. It is in this antakaran. It is not in the body. It is not in the senses. It is in the antakaran. You sort your antakaran out, all your phobias, all your shortcomings, all your failures, all your prarabdha for that matter is null and void, gets neutralized. So here, if whatever I have told you has entered your heart, then give a straight and ready answer to my question. As my Bhagwan or Arjuna is a straightforward student. He asks, does everything very, no beating about the bush. He'll ask straight and he will respond straight. It seems Bhagwan is also the same. Give me a straight answer. I'll think, give me some time, I will think about it. No, give me a straight answer here and now. Have you now got rid of the infatuation which arose in your mind due to ignorance? What was the infatuation? Remember now? It was in the first chapter.
Yes.
What? Tell me one.
His grandfather.
his love for the grandfather. How can I kill my own grandfather who loves me so much, who is a reverential person? Another one?
His relationship with the Pandavas and Kauravas, like.
Pandavas are his own.
Yeah, and the brothers. Like.
Brothers, how can I kill my own brothers? We are from the same family. Is it nice to kill your own people? Second. Third,
That Varna Sankramana happens.
the Varna Sankar will happen. People will die, men will die, brothers will die, husbands will die, and the whole system of it will get topsy-turvy, because people will come and attack and take advantage of the fairer sex. What else? How can I kill my own teacher? This is the ultimate. How can I kill my own teacher? These questions seem to be valid. And do you remember when the first chapter was being taken? Where did these doubts come into his mind from?
In the middle of
When he was,
Huh?
when he
the
was,
middle of the
No.
when he was taken in the chariot between the two
No.
armies.
When did the doubt? It got expressed in the middle of the in between the two armies, in the middle of the battlefield. But when was it planted in his mind?
When Sanjaya comes and talks to him.
When the Sanjay, the charioteer of the blind king Dhritarashtra, as a last resort, Dhritarashtra sends Sanjay as a messenger into the Pandava camp. He says, now I can't do anything, but I have a message. And with full commit, because he's doing the job of his boss. So even though he doesn't like it, he's saying what is to be said. And he says that my children don't listen to me. My children are unruly, the Kauravas. But you are intelligent, you are righteous, you know what is right and good, right and wrong. You are discriminatory, you have Lord on your side. Is it right for you to kill your teacher? Is it right for you to kill your brothers and relations? Is it right for you to be the cause of the Varna Sankar? And what did we answer that time? Yudhishthir had looked at all options, and then alone he had become ready to fight. Bhim, he has taken a vow that he is going to drink the blood of Duryodhana or Dushasana. Nakul and Sahdev, they say whatever the elder brother says, that is the final word for us. Who is in the middle? Arjun. He is the roly-poly. And he takes in those words. At that time, because he is not the commander, Yudhishthir is the commander. Yudhishthir says, whatever Krishna says, we will follow that. Or tomorrow. But Arjuna's mind is thinking of what Sanjaya has said, and those were exactly those words he repeats in the middle of the army, because they have taken root in his heart. That so many people will be killed. That I have to kill all my cousins and grandfather and teachers. And he expresses that in the middle of the battlefield. Why? Because Krishna put him in such a situation that he had no choice. Because see, whatever is in front of us, that becomes a trigger. If she comes in front of you, brother will not come out, only husband will come out. That is the trigger. The reference point is this. So what was the reference point given to Arjun? when he said, I want to go and see who has come to fight? Krishna, the great master, he took him straight in front of Dronacharya and Bhishmacharya. He did not take him in front of Duryodhana. If it was in Duryodhana, he would have remembered all the bad things that done and he would have ready to fight. But then we wouldn't have got the Bhagavad Gita. He took him in front of Dronacharya and Bhishmacharya. And the moment he looked at two people who are the most reverential for him, the whole domino drops in his mind. He is unable to think. And that is the delusion. Those are the doubts that Bhagwan is questioning Arjuna. Have you listened with focus, with concentration, with single-pointedness? And has your delusion now, been removed? Do you still think that you will undertake some action or abstain from it at your sweet will? What was chapter 2 about? Very simply put, it is Karma Yoga. Perform action without any attention on the result. Chapter 3 also was about action only. We are talking about your choice. You are talking about your ability to perform. And there the guidelines were given how to perform. First, perform without putting attention on the result, because that will adulterate the energy that is going into the action. It will seep it away, suck it away. Then third chapter, the attitude in the action is more important than the action itself. Fourth chapter was, when you perform it in this manner, slowly melting is taking place. Melting of what? Melting of the individuality. Purpose of Bhagavad Gita is not to establish individuality. Purpose of Bhagavad Gita is to dissolve without knowing. Merely listening, individuality must dissolve. So if you look at every chapter, as we come to the 18th chapter, the individuality must dissolve. That is the art of thinking. Art of thinking is not that we think and our individuality becomes more strong. Our ego becomes even more strong. Our personality becomes more strong. No, we must dissolve. And what is that dissolution express as? Dissolution of individuality will express as how? The body is still there, thinking, mind is still thinking. How will it express?
One in all and all in one.
That is true. That is true. Put it in another word. I just read it. Do you still think that you will undertake some action or abstain from it at your sweet will? That there is no choice. Everything is already happened, or everything is already predetermined. Then why was chapter 1 told do action without? Because you will not listen to this statement if you had not if your mind was not brought from where you are to where we want it to be, where the Lord wants it to be. In the 11th chapter, he gave him the whole darshan of the cosmic person, everything. So, if everything is happening, that you are supposed to come to this class, it's already predetermined. Me going tomorrow, I may say I have booked my ticket and I have decided, but it's all predetermined. Will I come back or not? That is also predetermined. That is also predetermined. But therefore, we must live in this understanding that everything that is happening by His will. He created the creation, He is running the whole. Our Swamiji says that He created the creation, let Him take care of the creation. Let Him direct. You get out of the way. Don't try to improve the world. I want to educate the masses about Bhagavad Gita. I want to spread the word of Ramakrishna. I want to spread the word of Ramana Maharishi. You're going the wrong way. Nobody has asked you. Nobody has given the baton, hey, now run with it. Vivekananda was given by that master. Who has given you? Self-proclaimed. I am doing it. See? If it is happening, all that can happen. But where is your attention while all that is taking place? Is it that this is how it is happening at this moment? So be it. If it doesn't happen, so be it. For that, this dissolution of the individuality is required. The thinner the I becomes, that means lesser and less the I has to hold on to, things to hold on to. Meaning, you can put it in different ways. I holds on to past, or I holds on to future. You are reducing the data for the I. So I has got nothing to hold on from the past, I has got nothing to hold on from the future, because no expectations and no regrets. Another contemplation is the I has got, your waker is coming and going, dreamer is coming and going, sleeper is coming and going. I am not coming and going. Next moment, it cannot hold on to the three. The moment it's just like after waking up from the dream, you don't hold on to the dream because you have got convinced it's only an illusion. It's only a projection of the mind. You have not become convinced that this waking experience is also a projection of the mind. And you have taken it to be real. See? So, go beyond. I don't like to do this, I like to do this. Raga Dvesh, that's what he's telling here in the 50, which was this verse 45. Karma kahi dekhatasi, that I will do this, I will not do that. Or this action is auspicious, this action is inauspicious. I like to do this action, or I don't like to do this action. You are not doing the action, full stop. Action is happening by some other force. When examples we have given many times before. Once again, you keep a mother magnet and you keep iron filings. In the iron filings, activity happens. Is the mother magnet doing anything to it? Nothing. Yet the iron filings start moving. They all become unidirectional. In the childhood, we used to take, the comb, we used to put the comb and we used to make small balls of paper. And we'll just take the comb, or if you take this piece of paper and put all those small balls there, and you take the comb from underneath, they will start jumping. It's inert. Where did the activity come into it from? Exactly the same way. Don't mistake body, breath, mind, intellect to be conscious. They are inert. You did not create it. You are only thinking that I am doing action because you are identified with it. Then who is the real doer? He is the real doer. In fact, he is also not doing anything. It's all happening. That why is it happening? It is the nature of matter to manifest or unmanifest. Continuing, Parthu swanandaikarase virale aisa bheda dashe anila yene mishe prashnatseni पूर्ण ब्रह्म झाला पार्थू तरी पुढील साधावया कार्यार्थू मर्यादा श्री कृष्णनाथू उल्लंघो नेदी येर्वी आपुले करणे सर्वज्ञ कायतो नेणे परी केले पुसणे याची लागी. एवं करोनिया प्रश्न नसतेची अर्जुनपणा. आणूनिया झाले पूर्णपणा ते बोलवी स्वये. मग क्षीराब्धी ते सांडितू गगनी पुंजू मंडितू. निवडे जैसा न निवडितू पूर्णचंद्रू. He says that the Lord asked Arjuna this question in order to prevent him from being dissolved in the bliss of Brahman and brought him back to the sense of distinction. This is also required because job has to be done. What is the job? Rebalancing of the forces on the earth has to be brought about. It is predetermined. Everything has been tried to stop the destruction, but it is not. Now operation has to be done. Medicines didn't work. Precautions didn't work. Last minute action also they tried. Nothing worked. Now operation is, now the limb has to be cut. Gangrene is set in. See? So who will perform this action? The war from the Pandava side cannot be won without Arjuna. We have already told you that. Not I have told, the Mahabharata only says that. If Arjuna, listening to the discourse of Bhagavad Gita, what did we say Bhagavad Gita is about? Dissolution of the individuality. If dissolution happens and he realizes his real nature, then who will fight the war? Huh? Correct. Exactly the same way when Krishna Bhagwan was tied by his mother. No, he ate the mud and mother Yashoda asked him, Krishna, you ate the mud? No, I did not. He had eaten, but straight lie, I did not. Open the mouth. Oh. And now, that time mother Yashoda told him, you eat the mud like a pig. Were you a pig in your last life? He realizes, oh, how did my mother come to know that I was a pig in my life? Varaha avatar, second avatar is a Varaha avatar. Kurma avatar, then Matsya, Kurma and Varaha. Third. I have to distract her. And he says, check. And when he opened his mouth, he showed her the whole universe inside his mouth. And she became, oh my God. Suddenly she was one with everything. And if he had left her like that, she would have started falling at the feet of that baby Krishna. And baby Krishna would have not been able to enjoy the motherly love of Yashoda if he had not immediately click and again the delusion took over. See? So like that, I hear the Lord is telling that to make sure that Arjuna does not get dissolved into the bliss of Brahman. What use is of a realized person? He will withdraw from if you have already decided what the war is going to be, what the result of the war is going to be, whether I am there or not there, how does it matter? Oh, not like that. Brought him back. Another example while I am at this verse, our Ramakrishna Paramahans. Whenever he used to be always in bliss, and many days he used to be in bliss, but so that people can ask him questions and get some guidance, they used to make him eat rasgulla, and that's why they said, are you addicted to rasgulla? That time he answered this, they feed me so that I can remain on the earth, otherwise I'll be always in samadhi. See? the Lord thought that if Arjuna became attuned to Brahman, he would not fulfill the object which he has in view, and so he did not allow him to transgress the boundary of his separate personality. So what is, again, purpose of Bhagavad Gita is to dissolve the individuality. Krishna, Bhagwan here, did not allow him to dissolve the individuality because the job has to be done. In the end, Bhagavad Gita is to be given at this moment in the middle of the army under these circumstances. This is also the Bhagwan's will. To war should happen or not happen is also Bhagwan's will. But he follows the dharma, not because he wishes so. So now it is his will, Bhagwan's will, not Arjuna's will, that Arjuna should do the job that has been assigned to him. Did not allow him to transgress the boundary of his separate personality. Otherwise, did he not, the omniscient one, know his own doing? He is the whole creator of the whole universe. He is the maintainer of the whole universe. He is the destroyer of the whole universe. Doesn't he know what to do and what not to do? We can say, oh yeah, that is right. But that exactly happening in your life also. Not only in Arjuna's life. In our life also he knows. Then what is where is the missing link? We are not listening to the Lord as Arjuna is listening to the Lord. That's the difference. We have to be committed. We have to surrender. Karpanya doshopahata swabhava prichhami tvam dharma sammudha cheta nishraya syat nashchitam bruhitan me shishyasteham shadhimam tvam brahmanam. That feeling must be there always within us, that I don't know anything. What is right and wrong? He only knows. I'm not going to articulate it. I'm not going to imagine it. I'm going to do what is coming in front of me. He is making me do what is required to be done. Get out of the way. The thought also he brings, just like hunger he brings, breath he brings, hiccup he brings, sneeze he brings. And what do you bring? Oh, I love this food, constipation. Oh, I love that food, diarrhea. He didn't bring that. You brought it. He is bringing everything. You don't have to think digestion, he is making it happen. And we are, I am making my body. Yeah? We have to recognize this. It's only recognition, nothing else. For that you don't need books after books and after books or someone to tell you again and again and again. Ek baar, because we have not with commitment sat down and dived deep into this realization that everything is happening by His will, not by our doing. Make it click once, deep in your heart. The whole life orientation will change. Orientation means everything will go on, but your orientation towards life will change. It's not that you will stop being a husband or stop being doing what you are doing. एक मस्ती आ जाएगी उसके बाद. But by asking him this question, the Lord restored his consciousness of the body and made him confirm whether he had attained perfection or not. So he was becoming, dissolution of the I leads to disidentification from the body. That is what is happening when you go to sleep. Here it is happening consciously. Then you are good for nothing. So he brought him back. By asking a question, he brought him back into body consciousness and he made him answer yes or no. He heard or he didn't hear. Has the delusion got removed or not removed? He cannot answer by being in samadhi. He has to take body identification, only then answer can come out. Then just as the moon rising from the milky sea illumines the sky remaining therein without separating from the sea. Now see how beautiful example. Then just as the moon rising from the milky sea illumines the sky. Right, on the horizon the moon is coming out, it's illuminating the sky. You are not able to see the stars in that, wherever the abha is, where the effulgence is. Illumines the sky, remaining there without separating from the sea. So it seems to be a part of the sea, because if you look at the horizon, sun, very difficult to see the reflection and the original sun both at the same time. Moon you can. You can see the reflection of the moon also, you can see the moon also. This is the art. Remaining in the world and yet not being of the world. This is how masters live. You see that? Yesterday we were talking about it in the car also. Without separating them from the sea. Now in the 51st verse, Taisa Brahma vihe visare तेथ जगची ब्रह्मत्वे भरे हे ही सांडी तरी विरे ब्रह्मपण ही ऐसा मोड तू मांड तू ब्रह्मे तो दुःखे देहाची सीमे मी अर्जुन येणे नामे उभा ठेला मग कापता करतळी दडपुनी रोमावळी पुलिका स्वेद जळी जिरवुनिया प्राणक्षोभे डोलतया आंगा आंगची टेंकया सुनिस्तंभू चाळया भुलवनिया नेत्रयुगुळाचे निवोते आनंदामृताचे भरिते ओ संडतते मागुते काढुनिया विविधा औत्सुक्याची दाटी चीप दाटत होती कंठी ते करुनिया पैठी हृदया माझी वाचेचे वितुळणे सावरुनी प्राणे अक्रमाचे श्वसने ठेवनी ठाई. Conversation continues and he says Arjuna had reached the frontier on which on the one hand he was getting forgetful of the Brahmic state, but on the other hand was seeing Brahman all around him. You know what is it like? After you wake up, eyes are open but you are still seeing sleep everywhere. It's pulling you back in. कभी कभी होता है ना, when you go into power nap or something and you come out of it, but it's pulling you in. You're seeing everything, but sleep is pervading everything. So similarly, Arjuna had reached the frontier in which on one hand he was getting forgetful of the Brahmic state because he is becoming body disidentified. But on the other hand was seeing Brahman all around him, in which on the one side the world was fast vanishing, while on the other his Brahmic state was abating. This is the witnessing state. So on one hand the world is vanishing, and the other hand he was getting forgetful of the Brahmic state, but on the other hand Brahman was all around him. His consciousness is expanding to include everything. Till individuality is there, till then you will think, I want realization, Aham Brahmasmi. But once you have taken a dip in the river, Can you come out wet, dry? Can you come out dry? Not possible. Exactly the same way. This is a very gross example because here I am separating the person from the river. But in Brahman, everything is inclusive. So Arjuna, who was thinking he was an individual, now having listened to Gita, has taken a dip in the river of the Gita. Can he come out unaffected? He is wet with the knowledge of Gita. Meaning, the knowledge of Gita is to come to the Moksha Sanyaas. This is the chapter now. To come to the state of realization. State of realization is nothing but dissolution of individuality. Both are, one can be said in the positive way that this is the Brahmic state, but passively if you look at it from the other side, dissolution of the individuality is equal to attainment of the Brahman. Dissolution of the wave is attainment of the infinite waters. And where is the wave? Only an idea in the mind of the wave. Even before the wave, during the wave and after the wave, it was nothing but the infinite waters. But it was believing that I am the wave. Just like we are believing that we are the individual. And why is that? Because of identification, tadatmya. This tadatmya has to be broken. This tadatmya cannot be broken by listening to scriptures. It cannot be broken. You have to slow down your mind through japa. By listening to Bhagavad Gita, mind must slow down. More questions must not arise. We must come to a point that everything is his doing, nothing is ours. Mast raho. Agar individuality is there, then slow down your mind, and once mind is slowed down, means the number of thoughts have become less. Dive into the antakaran and convince yourself. Create a conviction there. Become completely 110% convinced that I am not the body with all data. And that data is Bhagavad Gita. See? But what is our thing? We listen and we go back into the world with vengeance. With even more inspired to go and get involved in the world. But was seeing Brahman all around him, in which on one side the world was fast vanishing. So when he is looking at the world is, the moment he becomes aware of the world vanishes. The moment you wake up in the morning, eyes are open, you look at the world, the walls, the curtains, the clock, but the sleep is so much from inside. Again, the clock vanishes, the walls vanish, the curtains vanish. Back into, say, I'm just comparing fast vanishing, while on the other side, his Brahmic state was, but at the same time, the sleep is also concluding. It's pulling him in, it's not allowing him to go into the world. He's opening his eyes, he's looking at the world, but he goes in, but when he goes in, the sleep is also not continuous anymore. It's pushing him out, it's over now. So where? He's in the middle. Abating. Then he became forgetful of his Brahmic state and came back to the consciousness of his body in the form of I am Arjuna. This happens to us every morning. This happens to us every morning. For some time that bliss lingers. And while we are giving importance to that bliss of sleep, till then we open the eyes, again we go back. We open the eyes, again we go back in. Again we open the eyes, again we go back in. Sometimes we go in and again suddenly 2 hours are gone. Today I was lying down in the afternoon and I must have dozed off. When I woke up, I opened my eyes, but they didn't open completely. The light was still on in my room. And I just, like that, I looked, the liquid in front of the eyes, I could see every particle of that liquid. Or everything that is floating. At a, I don't know, you call it molecular level or whatever level. Very, like a microscope. I can see all the particles moving in that water, which is in front of the eyes. And I was enjoying. And in that focus, again the sleep came. And again I woke up, again it was there. That's why I got late. It became a game. And in that one small dot, I don't know, you call it mitochondria or whatever, you catch that one and you remain fixated on it. There are many around because the water is so much. You catch one of them and you keep holding on to it. If it swims this way, you bring your attention there. If it swims this way, your attention here. Keep looking at it. देखो कैसे single pointedness बढ़ता है. Then with trembling hands, he soothed the horripilation on his body and wiped the sweat dry. It is an ecstatic state. Dissolution of individuality, tasting it, again coming out into the world, seeing the whole world as Brahman, suddenly body identification coming, but the memory of something extraordinary that has happened is still lingering in your mind, in you somewhere, because it is you only. The mind knows something has happened, yet it is not able to articulate it. It's a heightened state of awareness. And whenever that happens, horripilation come, sweat happens, trembling happens. Similar symptoms like identity crisis. Here, what is the identity crisis? Dissolution of ego, realization of the self. What was the previous crisis? It was identity crisis under the spell of ignorance. Here it is, the identity is lost. And there is no crisis, but it's ecstasy. That ecstasy is expressing as horripilation and trembling and loss of words, etc. Exactly the same symptoms. Then with trembling hands and he soothed the horripilation on his body and wiped the sweat dry. Then he supported his body, which was swaying on account of his heightened breathing, and after steadying the movement of his body, he held back the joyful tears trickling down his eyes. In the first chapter also, my bow is slipping from my hands, my knees are becoming jelly, I am sweating, my lips are trembling, my hair are standing on end, I have got no energy, and he held on to the chariot to support himself. He is doing the same thing now also. So he began like that, he ended like this. What has changed? For a foolish fellow, nothing. फालतू में 18 chapters पढ़ा है. But there is a difference. That was out of crying, that was out of crisis, that was out of despondency, that was out of not recognizing the true identity of oneself. And what is happening here is out of the ecstasy of realization. This is the joy of the conscious expansion. It's not that the consciousness can expand, but as long as you are feeling that you are an individual, then we have to use the language that the consciousness is expanding, individual consciousness is dissolving. We have to use these words. There also he was crying out of crisis. Here he is crying out of joy. Then he says, then he suppressed the emotions crowding in his heart, which produced a choking sensation in his throat, and further recovering his faltering speech, he steadied his breath. Huh? If you are getting angry, focus on your breath. Slow it down. Anger will slow down. Your emotions are welling up. He is becoming emotional as to what is taking place. But being a warrior, he knows how to focus the mind. Immediately he takes control. Focuses on his breath, slows down the breath, comes back into control. Because with that quivering speech, faltering speech, with the trembling body, he is not going to be able to make a legible response to the question that has been asked. He has to be fully calm, cool, collected before he gives the response to the teacher. Here, that is Bhagavan. And in this, and these are signs. Whenever we are asked a question, don't just react to the whatever has been asked. Do this. Go into your mind, slow down the thoughts, slow down the breath, and then take a deep breath and then answer whatever the situation is. Normally we only react. Then continuing he says, Arjuna uvacha, nashto moha smritir labdha, tvat prasadan mayachyuta, stitosmi gata sandehaha, karishye vachanam tava. Together, Arjuna uvacha, nashto moha smritir labdha, tvat prasadan mayachyuta, stitosmi gata sandehaha, karishye vachanam tava. He says, who Arjuna uvacha, Arjuna spoke that nashto mohaha, my delusion is nasht, it's destroyed. What was the delusion? The crisis that is. How can I be the cause of all the destruction? Where was the focus? Not on destruction. How can I kill my grandfather? How can I kill my grandfather, but I'll kill other grandfathers? How can I kill my teacher, but I'll kill other teachers? How can I kill my brothers, but I'll kill other people's brothers? So where's the problem? In identification, in the I, in the mind. That has been destroyed. My delusion about myself, not delusion about the world, delusion about myself that I am an individual, that is gone. What is individuality? Only a phenomena. It's only a phenomena. It appears but actually is not there. So when he says nashto moha, this, to recognize a phenomena as a phenomena, is nashto moha. To recognize a thing as a thing, then delusion about it or ignorance about it is gone. Because you cannot remove the world, you cannot remove the body, you cannot remove the breath, you cannot remove the mind, you cannot do anything. You can escape from it to go to sleep or go into samadhi, but the moment you come out, they are still there. So what did you do? You only escaped. You did not destroy it. So destruction, or here destruction means, here he is answering, nashto moha, my delusion. Or what was the delusion? Taking this as real, or considering them to be real, considering the phenomena to be real, that has been concluded. It has got destroyed. Because after realization, this body will still be there, this breath will still be there, hunger will still be there, wife will still be there, children will still be there. Namdev Maharaj, when he was going, he was told, your teacher is there in the hills somewhere. So you go to the butcher in the next township. Namdev Maharaj went to and there butcher was cutting the meat. And with every cut, it was Ram, 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 like Kabir Das Ji, with every weave of that, that sound they make, they click the thread. He used to say Ram, Ram, Ram. So Kabir Ji is saying Ram, Ram with the profession that he is in. The butcher is doing the job of cutting the meat and saying Ram, Ram, Ram. Suddenly things started becoming clear. He was thinking he was the greatest devotee. I have now recollection of my duty through your grace. O Achyuta, Krishna, I stand secure with no doubts and shall do what you say. I stand, O Achyuta, I stand secure with no doubts. I have got no questions anymore, and shall do what you say. Is Krishna going to say what he should do? Has Krishna told anyone in the entire life what one must do? He gives a suggestion. And because Krishna being Krishna, who is he? He is the heart of everyone. The person comes to know intuitively from within. If one is available. If one is available. This time, you know what happened? I will narrate something intuitive part. Only afterwards I realized it is intuitive, not before. I was organizing Swamiji's tour, and for what reason I don't know. In Sydney, I organized only for 1 week. I kept 4 days free. And Radhikananda ji was after me. I have to get these days, I want to give Bhiksha here. I said, no, 4 days have to be kept free. I don't know why. I got no idea why. But I felt I'm going wrong, but I said, no. Then I said, I can't say that. Or I said, we'll go for a trip somewhere, we'll do this, we'll do that, whatever. Jhoot bol diya. But 4 days I kept free. And Swamiji came 4 days late, and we got those 4 days to cover up all the talks. Did I know that his flight is going to be delayed? No. Did I know that, not flight delayed, that visa was not there? No, I didn't know that. हो जाता है. When you are committed to doing something, not that I am doing it, this is just maybe one thing in my whole life that I am saying it like this. बाकी सब तो ego के साथ ही चलता है. So you know it from inside. You don't know. There is no reason for it. There is no data for it. There is no why or how about it. There is no precedence to it. There is no data from the past that, that happened that time, therefore I must do it. Nothing like that. It's just an inner knowing. Just like when we went to the ashram to study, it was an inner knowing. I am going, no question asked. And he gives you the strength to stand tall in front of all the forces who don't want you to go. I don't know how, but he does. See? Faith, commitment to the higher. No, and with this knowledge that he alone is. I am not. He alone is. Then, मग अर्जुन म्हणे काय देवो पुसताती आवडे मोहो तरी तो सकुटुंब गेला जी ठावो घेऊनी आपला पासी येऊनी दिनकरे डोळ्याते अंधारे पुसिजे हे काही सरे कोणे गावी तैसा तू श्रीकृष्णराया आमुचिया डोळया गोचर हेची काही सया न पुरे तव. He says, I think with that we'll conclude. Then Arjuna said, "O Lord, why do you ask whether I still have delusion? It has already left with bag and baggage. Will it be reasonable for the sun to approach and ask, 'Do you see darkness?'" He is asking the question back to Sri Krishna. Now, the tadatmya means identification. Another nice way of putting it is surrender. Even nicer ways, at one ment. So Arjuna feels at one ment with Krishna. So he doesn't, so Krishna is of the nature of knowledge, light, sun, whatever. Arjuna is also feeling that way. He says, "Why you are asking me such a silly question?" It is like asking asking the sun, now has the darkness been removed? Sun doesn't know what darkness is. That is the state of Arjuna now. Before, what was it? You know. Now how he is speaking, you understand. And don't appreciate what a great Arjuna. No, you have to invoke that Arjuna in you. You have to be that. It is our journey, whether we like it or not. Whether we accept it or not, it is our journey. If you don't realize it in this life, next life is always there. Where? In the phenomena. Yellow. Will it be reasonable for the sun to approach and ask, "Do you see darkness?" So that means he's put it back on the Krishna. From sun's point of view, there is no darkness. He's saying, "Oh Krishna, you are like sun, and you are asking me, has the darkness got removed? What do you know about darkness? What does the sun know about darkness?" How can he ask that question? In the same way, is not your very sight sufficient to dispel this delusion? Is not your sight just doesn't mean him being physically present. Sometimes people mistake that sight to be Bhagwan ke darshan chahiye, Bhagwan ke darshan, they want darshan of Bhagwan. They want him to manifest in front of them. It happens also, no doubt. It happens. But he can manifest in your heart. He can manifest in your eyes. He only manifested in front of Dhruva 2 times. He came in the mind of Dhruva. He was chanting Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva. Chaturbhuj Bhagavan came in his mind. And he said, "Oh, this is imagination. It's a form. I don't know whether you are real or not." And he disregarded it. Second time he came again. "Oh, no. I think my mind is tricking me by showing me this picture. I want to see the real Narayan. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I want to see the real Vasudev. I don't want to see the imagination projected by my mind." And he kept chanting the mantra. The third time Bhagavan said, "Yeah, kya karenge iska?" He was a small kid. So he came in front of him, touched him on the cheek with the conch, and then he opened. Is it? He was the same person who was in my meditation also. Then the first words that came out of his mouth were, "Om yonta pravishya mama vacham yamam prasuptam sanjeevayatya kila shakti dharaswadhamnam अन्यांश हस्तचरण श्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम." These are because conch is for the sound, and those words came out of his mouth. by Lord's will. But this is how we can get lost in meditation. This story is not to make fun of Dhruva. From that we have to learn. When we are in meditation, our mind projects many things. But why we get distracted by many things? We are in Vedanta class. Where should be our attention? Our attention should be all that is changing is ephemeral. Who is knowing? Who is the constant principle in whose presence all these projections are coming and going? Be that. But instead what we do? We become focused on the changing. Even if it is Lord, form. Even if it is the mantra. We become focused on the mantra. Eventually it must come to the conscious one, the witness. Otherwise it will remain incomplete. So we'll stop here with the words of Arjuna. Is it not your very sight sufficient to dispel this darkness? Is not the sight of the sun enough for the darkness to say goodbye, tata, ciao, ciao, run? It cannot stand the sun, isn't it? Same way. The sight of the Lord, the sight of the knowledge, the presence of the self, darkness, delusion, projection, everything in toto is destroyed. We'll continue this in our next class on Zoom from Kathmandu. Next Thursday. Yeah, we should be doing. If it is not there, I'll tell you. If we are traveling, then I can't do it. But I'll let you know. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Just sit quietly for a moment. Hari Om.